The first time I met Rachel Dow was right after Jake hired her. She came to work sporting a short pink sundress. She was 20 and she was smoking hot. I turned to Jake and gave him a look that said, "What were you thinking?" I assumed that he had hired her just because she was smoking hot. Later that day, in order to justify his hire, Jake told me that one day she would run the joint. The next day, Rachel came to work with a shaved head. I turned to Jake and asked, "What were you thinking?" He shrugged his shoulders. I didn't care. I was all in. On her 21st birthday, Rachel left work with a bottle of Jägermeister in one hand and a Coke from Filio in the other. Going on a date, she told us. A couple of years later, she pulled me aside and informed me that she was now a lesbian. Sounds great, I told her, knowing that time would see Rachel through her lesbian phase and on to something new. Sure enough, a couple of years later, she again pulled me aside. "I'm getting married," she said, and I repeated, "That's great." I tried to out-cool her cool. I don't know how successful I was. With every reinvention of herself, she would announce her transformation, proud of her independence, and secretly proud of her ability to turn my hair gray. With every reinvention of herself, she added layer upon layer of new experiences, new friends. And as those layers grew, my role diminished. But that was okay. I knew that she was in a good place and had a community of friends to keep her safe. I was glad that I had helped her navigate the turbulent waters of her early 20s that for all of us are fraught with hidden dangers. As time passed, she didn't come to me as often, but sometimes I could tell that she was sad and I would wrap her in my arms and let her know that she was safe. Rachel was the heart and soul of Chiang Mai Thai. When she was in the house, I marveled at how she worked. She was like Peyton Manning on the line of scrimmage, calling her audibles, directing the team, driving them. And they listened, or they didn't make the cut. Believe me, it was a thing of beauty. Jake, you are so lucky that you were right. We are all lucky that you were right. The last night I worked with Rachel was New Year's Eve. I was sitting alone in the office, quietly preparing myself for the evening. If you don't work at Chiang, you may not know that by New Year's Eve, everybody on the staff is spent. You can smell the acrid aroma of burning flesh on all of us. And if you don't work at Chiang, you may not know that the staff works 10 times harder than the owner. And if I'm burnt, you can only imagine how everyone else feels. At any rate, I'm meditating in the office, and there comes a knock on the door. I open it, and Rachel nudges it wider, steps toward me, and wraps me in her arms. We stand there for a minute, silently embracing. I think Tom came by, turned on a dime, and scampered away, thinking he had busted us in an inappropriate embrace. But the hug was totally appropriate. She lifted my spirit as I had done for her before. She let go of me without saying a word and gave me that sideways Rachel Dow elfin smirk and walked back onto the floor. I can't tell you how much love I felt. We've placed a string throughout the room, and I'd like for you to try, everybody, to hold on to that string. If you can find it, it's on the floor, it's on the chairs. If you're in the back, please move forward. But I'd like everybody to have a piece of that string. The last week has been hard on all of us. I don't know about any of you, but I hope this incessant crying ends soon. But when I look back on Rachel's life, the time that I have been honored to be a part of, I can't help but think of her as a weaver, someone who has taken each of us, her threads, and brought us together on a loom of her own devising. The string that you are holding represents that thread, the interconnectedness that Rachel has blessed us with. Let us please take a moment to think of her. Rachel loved nature. She loved to be in it, smell it, taste it, feel it, and share it with her friends. The circumstances of her death may never be fully known. What we do know is that many of us wish that we could have been there for her in those final, lonely moments. I believe that she will return to us from time to time, in dreams and in visions, in the ripple of a mountain stream or the spectrum of a rainbow. The following is a poem by William Butler Yeats entitled The Lake Isle of Innisfree. I hope her journey takes her to a place like this. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in a bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the veils of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always, night and day, I hear the water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray. I hear it in the deep heart's core.